Have you ever heard of the Southern Poverty Law Center, an organization that literally bankrupted extremist groups through lawsuits, and at the same time became one of the most controversial in the United States? The story begins in 1971 in Alabama. At that time, the American South was still living with the consequences of racial segregation, and a small team of lawyers decided to fight it not with words, but through the courts. That's how the Southern Poverty Law Center was born. From the very beginning, their strategy was unusual. They didn't just try to put criminals in jail. They went further and targeted what hurts the most: money. SPLC filed lawsuits against extremist organizations, including members of the Ku Klux Klan, seeking millions of dollars in damages for acts of violence. And it worked. Some of these groups literally went bankrupt. They lost assets, influence, and disappeared. It became one of the most effective strategies for fighting extremism in the US. But they didn't stop there. SPLC built an entire system for tracking radical movements. They monitor so-called hate groups, publishing reports, databases, and analysis. This information is used by journalists, researchers, and even law enforcement. On top of that, the organization is deeply involved in legal work. They defend the rights of immigrants, women, children, and other vulnerable groups, often for free. They also create educational programs to reduce prejudice in schools. Sounds like a success story, right? But here's where it gets interesting. Over time, the Southern Poverty Law Center has become not only influential, but highly controversial. Critics accuse them of political bias, of labeling too many groups as extremist, and even of exaggerating threats. In recent years, the controversies have only grown. For example, in 2025, the Federal Bureau of Investigation cut ties with the SPLC. And in 2026, the U.S. Department of Justice brought allegations related to financial misconduct and the use of informants. The organization denies all accusations and says they are politically motivated. So who are they, really? An organization that helped weaken extremism and protect thousands of people? Or one that went too far and became part of political conflict? As often happens, the truth is probably somewhere in the middle. But one thing is certain: the Southern Poverty Law Center has had a major impact on how the fight against extremism and discrimination is carried out in the United States today. And the debate around them is far from over.